Clever Cookie. The episodes are booking. Everybody's looking. It's Focus on Cooking with Lorraine.
Hi, welcome to Focus on Cooking. Today we're going to concentrate on vegetables. My favorite thing, besides chocolate, of course. But vegetables have come a long way in the years. Growing up, vegetables were fresh veggies with pepper and salt and butter, and they were boiled. And nowadays we use different seasonings and different tastes, different dressings on them, like balsamic vinaigrette and different seasonings from all over the world. So vegetables, I think, have come a long way. Please do not buy vegetables in a can other than chickpeas, garbanzo beans, kidney beans, and black beans. They're okay in the can. Try to buy fresh. A great alternative to fresh, of course, is frozen, because they flash freeze fresh veggies and freeze them right away. They contain all the nutrients and vitamins that you need. In a can, they're actually disgusting and they taste metallic from the can. Don't use them if you can help it, please. So, first thing we're going to make today is whiskey glazed carrots. Or you can use whiskey like Jack Daniels or bourbon if you prefer. They're really delicious. I made them a month ago just to experiment with them. And I wound up eating the entire pan of carrots as a snack. They were so tender and so good. So what we're going to do is we're going to heat our nonstick skillet. And we're going to put in 1.5 tablespoons of butter. And we're going to let that melt. And what I did was I cut a pound of carrots, I'd say about 5 to 6 medium carrots, and I cut them in little coins or discs, about 1/4 of an inch, and I tried to cut them uniform so they all kind of cook around the same time and they get tender together. So let your butter melt, and you're going to add your carrots. So I have a pound of carrots. You're going to saute them for about 5 minutes. So we're going to saute the 1.5 tablespoons of butter in the pan. We're melting that, and we added the carrots. And see how it's bubbly? And you're going to cook that for about 5 minutes. Constantly stir the carrots around so that they try to all get coated with the butter. And to that, we're going to add 1 tablespoon of water, just to help it saute a little more. Don't cover it yet. We're going to saute it uncovered for a while. And see how the water and the butter is bubbling. Keep stirring it so that everything's coated and evenly distributed. Now it's on high. Have it on high for a few minutes to build up the heat, because we're going to add Jack Daniels whiskey. You can use bourbon or Jack Daniels. If you don't have it in the house, your local liquor store sells those little airline bottles. And for recipes, I usually buy little airline bottles if I just need a little bit. So this is 3 tablespoons of Jack Daniels. Again, you can use a bourbon if you wish. We're going to put it in the boiling carrots, or sauteing carrots, and we're going to smush it around, and the alcohol will burn off, and that's going to leave a nice flavor and glaze. You can even hear it. So smush it around so that the alcohol evaporates, because we really don't want to serve people alcohol. We want to serve them glazed carrots with a touch of alcohol. And let that continue to cook for 5 minutes. I usually keep a fork near the stove so I can see. The carrots are just starting to soften. going to take a while. This takes a while to cook, but it's really a simple recipe and so good when you're finished. And of course, any recipe that I give you in any of these segments, I'll give you a certain amount to cook. You can always cut them in half if you're cooking for less than 4 people, like for yourself. I like to cook and have leftovers. I go out a lot. It's easy to come home and just put leftovers in the microwave or heat them up in the oven. To that, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. Just sprinkle it around. Stir it all around so that the sugar melts along with the butter and the Jack Daniels. And see, it's already getting a glaze. And you see how it's bubbly? Now, the easiest part is turn your burner down to low, and we're going to cover this with any kind of cover that you have. Cover it so the steam softens the carrots. So all you need to do, every 5 minutes, come and just stir it around. And you saute this with the cover on for 20 minutes, and voila, it will be done. But just stir it every 5 minutes to make sure it doesn't stick and distribute all the glaze on the carrots. Okay, so our carrots are cooked. Look at that. Totally glazed. And the longer it sits, the thicker the glaze gets. Let's shut the heat off. Let's plate this so you can see what the carrots look like in a nice plate. And here they are. Bourbon glazed or whiskey glazed carrots. They're delicious and easy to make. A little bit of prep work, but not too much. So enjoy them. Okay, now we're going to make something called zucchini tarts. They're healthy because it's veggies, of course, but they're not fried in any way. You bake them in the oven. They're easy to make, and they make great little hors d'oeuvres at a party. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with 1 medium zucchini. It's about a cup of zucchini. I have a towel here, or you can use paper towels. When you grate a zucchini, it's watery, and for this you don't want a watery zucchini. So take your shredded or grated zucchini, put it in a towel, and just press it down, roll it if you want to, just to get that extra water out. The whole towel is getting saturated with water. You don't want a watery zucchini in your recipe. Take a bowl, take 1 egg, and mix it up well. To that egg, you're going to add 1/4 cup of shredded carrot. Mix that in like this. 1/4 of a chopped onion. Chop it as fine as you can. You don't want chunks of onion if you can help it. So it's egg, shredded carrot, 1/4 cup, and I think the zucchini is pretty well dry, so let's put that in. We have shredded zucchini. Mix that in. It's going to look like this. Stir it around so the egg gets everywhere. We're going to put a little dash of salt and pepper. Mix that. We're going to do 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder. To that, we're going to add 1/4 cup of seasoned breadcrumbs plus 1 tablespoon, because the zucchini and everything with the egg can get to be a little wet. We want to try to dry it out a little bit. So mix it, spread some more around, mix it, Okay. And one last thing that I think really makes it, we're going to add 1/4 cup of shredded sharp cheddar cheese. And mix that in. You're going to heat your oven to 400 degrees. Mix it all up so it looks colorful and everything's incorporated. The cheese, the carrots, the onion, the breadcrumbs, the spices, and the zucchini. Now what you're going to do is going to take a cookie sheet. I prefer parchment paper. I ran out of parchment paper today, and I have to use foil. Spray the parchment or the foil with spray cooking spray. I really prefer parchment. Even with the cooking spray, I find the foil can stick a little. Now I'll give you a little kitchen hint that I use. I don't like touching certain things with my hands, just me. Mushy things like ground beef, making meatballs. I use vinyl gloves. I buy them in Home Depot or Harbor Freight, or you can buy them online, just so that my hands are clean. You're going to take a tablespoon, a nice sized tablespoon, and you're going to make a little oval shape, shaped like an egg actually. You're going to put it on the tablespoon like this, so that's an oval shape, and you're going to place it on your cookie sheet. So we're going to do that with all of these. You're heating the oven to 400 degrees. Again, it makes a little oval. This makes about 9 to 10, depending on how much you load onto your tablespoon. And I like the vinyl gloves. When I'm finished, I throw them in the garbage. I still wash my hands though. And what we're going to do is bake these, spray the top. You can put melted butter on top, brush a little melted butter, or spray it again on top with the cooking spray. We're almost finished. We'll just do a few so you get an idea of what they look like. And again, they're cute. They make a nice hors d'oeuvre at a party, or if you're going to someone's house for dinner. Okay, so over here, we're going to take off the glove. We're going to spray the top with cooking spray or melted butter. We're going to stick it in the oven at 400 degrees for 15 minutes. And check it after about 12 minutes. They'll start to brown on top, and that's it. Okay, when you saw me add salt and pepper, you saw me just sprinkle in one little bit from this container. In previous shows, I showed you that I always keep salt and pepper mixed for that purpose in a container. So it's a good kitchen hint. Mix salt and pepper together, and then you always have it. So our zucchini is done. The zucchini cakes are done. Let's take them out. And they look like this. A little crispy, a little brown on the bottom. And I'm going to plate them so you can see what they look like. Let's do 3. They have that oval shape. Oops. And let me show you the bottom. They are crispy on the bottom. And we can cut one open so you can see what they look like. But they're little bite-sized zucchini cakes, and they're really good. And that's our zucchini tots. Okay, our last vegetable for today is actually something very strange. You're not going to believe what you can make with a yam. I've made it. I think it's delicious. I've given it to friends for dessert. They liked it. We're going to make chocolate fudge frosting, only using a half a cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips. You can use milk chocolate or dark chocolate, and a yam. It's as simple as that. You will need a Cuisinart or a blender. Blenders work as well as Cuisinarts because we're going to puree the yam, add in the melted chocolate, and that's all it is. There's no extra sugar. It's really, really good. So I have a yam, a medium yam. I poke holes in it. I put it in the microwave for about 6 minutes. So this is almost finished. And then we're going to scoop out the pulp, put it in the Cuisinart or a blender. We're going to melt the chocolate, add it, puree it, and spread it on cupcakes or muffins, which it covers about 6 cupcakes. It covers an 8 by 8 inch cake in a pan. It also covers a very small 8-inch round cake. So this should be just about done. While I'm scooping out the pulp from the yam or sweet potato, we're going to melt our chocolate. And that's all it is. It's very, very simple. And it's great for your grandchildren or children because if they don't like vegetables, they're getting the vitamins and they don't know it. So here is my yam. Make sure, take a fork, make sure it's soft, poke holes in it, and it is soft. So put it on a pot holder or some paper towels because it's very hot. You don't want to burn yourself. Let's move this out of the way. Put this over here. So we're going to scoop out the pulp, the softened pulp from the inside. This is all it is. Get it out, get it all around. You can use a large yam. The larger the yam, the more frosting you will get. So last time I made this, which was last week for a friend, I did use a large yam. But this is just an idea so you can see. So I scooped out the pulp. Now we're going to melt the chocolate chips. I do a minute at a time because you don't want to burn them. If you cook it too much, you could burn the chocolate in the microwave. So I do a minute at a time, maybe a minute and a half, and I stir it and I see the consistency that it's melted. If it's getting too melted, it'll start to clump up and you don't want that. And here are muffins. We can frost them. It's going to puree like baby food, but with the chocolate it's nothing like baby food. Okay, so it's been a minute and a half. I've checked the chocolate a few times just to make sure that it's melted and very smooth. We're going to add that in to our yam. Now last week I did this for a cake. It was delicious. And I actually used a larger yam. The bigger the yam you use, the more frosting you will get. The chocolate kind of stays about the same. Oh, that's good. Okay. I'm also going to add, I decided to add just a teaspoon of milk or cream to give it a little smoother texture. You don't have to, but I think it's a good idea, and it just came to me while we were waiting. So, we're going to blend it, puree it, check it, make sure it's all smooth. One more little blend. It's good to go. So I have 2 muffins from the store. I didn't bake them myself. So this is your sample. It looks like this from the blender. And I would use it as soon as possible to frost. I store them either out of the refrigerator, but because I added a drop of milk or cream, then I would keep it in the refrigerator. Let's frost a muffin so you see how creamy and delicious it is. It's a nice thick frosting. It's almost like the frosting you buy in the can. But this is better for you because there's no added sugar. And here we go. There it is. A cupcake with yam chocolate frosting. No added sugar. And here it is. And it's delicious. So hope you'll try these recipes. This was the easiest one, of course. Next time, we are going to make hot sandwiches, particularly sandwiches that I find men like because they're hot and they're hearty. So we're going to do 2 hot sandwiches, and then we're going to make pickles. Yeah, we're going to make pickles, easy refrigerator pickles that take 10 minutes to make. You put them in the refrigerator overnight. They last for about 3 weeks in the refrigerator. They're fresh and they're crunchy and they're crispy and they're delicious. I hope you'll tune in then. Bye.
A Southbury rookie, she's one clever cookie. The episodes are booking. Everybody's looking, it's Focus on Cooking with Lorraine. The episodes are booking. Everybody's looking, it's Focus on Cooking with Lorraine.